Good morning, Year 2. It's Marvellous Monday. I hope you had a lovely weekend and are ready for the week ahead and our maths learning. We're going to continue our learning about measure, particularly looking at length and at the measure of height. Today, focusing on comparing length in centimetres. Have a look at the in focus task. We've got a picture there of a green comb, a purple crayon and a red straw. Can you look carefully at where they are placed against the ruler and compare the length of the three different objects? Pause the video to have a think. Now, was there anything that made comparing the length of those objects a little bit tricky? Think back to what we learned last week, that when we measure objects, it is easier to start with the ruler against the end of the object at 0 centimetres. Let's see how you got on. Now, being able to move these objects so they start at 0 centimetres straight away without even looking at the ruler and the numbers on the ruler, we can see which object is the longest and which object is the shortest. So we can see there that the comb is about 8 centimetres long. The crayon is about 6 centimetres long. And the straw is about 7 centimetres long. So which is the longest object? Which is the shortest object? If we look in more detail, we can see that the green comb is about 2 centimetres longer than the crayon. Now you can see that really clearly when you look at the yellow ruler, because there is a difference of 2 centimetres. But we could also look at it at the numerical value and know that the comb is 8 centimetres. If we take away the length of the crayon, which is 6 centimetres, there is a difference of 2 centimetres. We can also see that the comb is about 1 centimetre longer than the straw. Again, 8 centimetres is the length of the comb, minus the length of the straw, which is 7, leaves us with a 1 centimetre length difference. So we can say that the comb is the longest object and the crayon is the shortest object. Hopefully you got those answers too. And lastly here, we're just going to look at the image of how we might compare those objects using the more than and less than symbols. Have a look at that image. Now moving on to our guided practice. Question 1, very similar to the one we've just done in our in focus task. Can you compare the length of the 3 ropes? Rope A, rope B, and rope C. We want to know which rope is the longest, which rope is the shortest, and then I want you to think carefully about rope B is how many centimetres longer than rope C, and rope C is about how many centimetres shorter than rope A. Now, in order to do this, you might want to write down the measurements of those different lengths of ropes on your worksheet so you don't have to keep remeasuring them. Or you might want to make this yourself with some rope or some tape or some objects that measure the same. And think back to the in focus task where we were told that it might be easier to have all the beginning of the rope at 0 centimetres to help us. For questions C and D in the guided practice, you need to think back to the beginning of the year where we did lots of our learning about subtraction and taking numbers away from others. All of these numbers within 15 you should be able to do mentally in your head, thinking about your number bonds to 10 and your number bonds to 20 to help you. They should be known facts. Have a go. Okay, question 2 of our guided practice. You're going to compare the length of the presents. This is a bit trickier because we don't have a whole ruler in front of us. And what we do have is each present has an image of a ruler underneath it to help you find out the length of the present, but you're not able to compare them to each other. So this is where your knowledge of addition and subtraction really comes into play. So first of all, have a go at recording what the length of each of those presents are. Use the ruler a bit like a number line to help you. Then we want you to arrange the presents in order of length, starting with the longest present. And then complete A and B. How many centimetres shorter is the red present compared to the blue present? And how many centimetres longer is the blue present compared to the green? And the last guided practice is to compare the height of the presents. So have a go at measuring the height of each of those three presents first. Think about which two presents have the same height and how do you know? Look really carefully at the rulers because the measurement of those presents don't always start on a whole number. That's what makes this trickier. And then complete the two sentences A and B at the bottom. The red present is how many centimetres taller than the blue present. And the blue present is how many centimetres shorter than the green. Now for your independent learning, again comparing length in centimetres. Now you've already been given in question 1 the length of 3 different boxes. So it's using your knowledge of place value to help you find out which ones are the shortest, the tallest, and then find out how many centimetres the boxes are bigger or smaller compared to the others using your knowledge not only of place value but of addition and subtraction. And question 2. Can you find the length of the objects and then fill in the blanks? Look carefully at the bottom of the image here because you do have the ruler, but you are also given some specific measurements that might help you answer the questions. Have a go at measuring those 4 objects first, find out the length of them. We want to know which one is the shortest. We want to know if the scissors are longer or shorter than the crayons. And we want to know which object is about 5 centimetres shorter than the crayon. You might want to do some jottings in your book or in your journal to help you. Now, for those of you who want to push yourself a little bit further, I've got 2 extra challenges today. Challenge 1. Eva, Jack and Rosie each have a piece of ribbon. How much longer is Jack's ribbon than Eva's? Jack and Rosie put their ribbons together. How long are they all together? Eva cuts 3 more ribbons of the same length as hers. What is the total length of all 4 ribbons? Eva cuts her ribbon in half. What is the length of each piece? Now, this problem requires lots of different thinking about doubles and halves, where you've learnt about fractions, and lots of learning about addition and adding same amounts together, but also a little bit about dividing. So talk to your adult about what you're doing and what you're thinking, and jot down anything you've done to help you work out the answers. And the last challenge today, extra challenge 2. Teddy has a toy train and a toy plane. The train is 28 centimetres long. The plane is 16 centimetres longer. How long is the plane? The toy train is double the length of a toy car. How long is the toy car? Can you draw bar models to help you? And more importantly, can you explain your bar models and your workings to your adult? That's it for today, Year 2. Have a lovely rest of the day, and I look forward to seeing you on Wednesday.